What's up, YouTube? Today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to edit like BABYTRON, going over some of the tips and tricks that BABYTRON's editors use to spice up their music videos and keep the viewers watching. Specifically, we'll be looking at raresmoke and some of his edits for BABYTRON. I'll have them linked in the description below. This video is going to be sponsored by my editing packs. Sales on that site directly support me and also elevate your music videos. Link in the description. Thank you guys for purchasing my packs and watching the videos. Enough of this, let's get straight into it. So right here, we've just got some clips from Tronelation. This was edited by raresmoke. I'm just going to go ahead and throw some of the common BABYTRON effects on these edits. Got it in Premiere, and I want to go ahead and throw a couple of these clips in After Effects. I'm just going to highlight all of them, right click, and replace with After Effects composition. Just like that, our clips have automatically been transferred into After Effects. So consistently in BABYTRON's music videos, there's going to be a lot of seamless transitions. These consist of zoom in, zoom outs, and just kind of like slide transitions. So the first effect I'm going to teach you guys how to create is that seamless slide transition with a little bit of stretch. It looks super sick. First, we're just going to need 2 clips to transition. I just grabbed these clips from the music video. First thing I'm going to do is just throw a motion tile on my first clip. Here I'm going to go to the output width and set it to 200 as well as the output height. I'm also going to go ahead and check this mirror edges box right here. Then I'm just going to go ahead and copy this motion tile and paste it on our second clip so that way we have it on both clips. Next, I'm going to just go to the first clip and drag a transform on. I'm going to go to where it transitions, and I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 frames back. And here I'm going to keyframe the position on that transform. Next, going towards right to where it transitions, I'm going to go ahead and drag this to the right. And as you can see, that motion tile is showing up so we can kind of like drag the clip further than it's supposed to go. What I'm going to do is just go to the very end of our motion tile and just end it right there. Next, I'm just going to go into the keyframe of that position and just move it to the very end of the clip like so. Now we have the first clip spinning to the right, and now we're just going to do the same for the second clip. So I'm going to drag a transform onto our second clip, go like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 frames out and keyframe that position, then go back to right where it transitions. Drag this one actually from the opposite side so that it spins in perfectly. Drag it right to the edge of the motion tile. If I play that back, we have the basics of this slide transition where it kind of slides and then switches to the next scene. What I'm going to go ahead and do next is actually just highlight these keyframes and F9 to easy ease them. I'm also going to easy ease the keyframes on our second clip. You could also right click, go to keyframe assistant and easy ease. But what we really need to do is edit the graph values to make this a better transition. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is highlight these first keyframes and go into the graph editor right here. And here I'm just going to make it super slow in the beginning and super fast at the end. You guys can go ahead and copy this graph if you want. It just kind of goes up like that. And for the second set of keyframes, I'm going to highlight that, go into the graph editor, and I'm actually going to make it the opposite. So it's super fast in the beginning and slow at the end. And we get a more seamless transition like that. And I think that looks super sick. Got all those keyframes in place. I'm going to go ahead and tick the motion blur on both of these clips. I've just got this super clean slide transition. You could leave it right here if you wanted to. I'm going to go ahead and give you guys some extra sauce that I've seen raresmoke use in his edits. I'm just going to go ahead and turn off the motion blur for now. We're going to go ahead and get an effect called CC scale wipe. I'm going to drag that onto our first clip. Basically what CC scale wipe does, if I go ahead and edit the stretch factor, you can see it just stretches our clip out. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is go to right where the transition starts. If I pull up, you can see our keyframes. I'm just going to go ahead and keyframe that stretch value at 0 right where it starts. Going towards the end of the transition, we're going to go ahead and mess with the settings. I'm going to go ahead and set the center on the right side right here. I'm going to go ahead and change the direction to something like -75. And here, if I go ahead and increase the stretch value, you can see what it's doing. It's just kind of warping our transition. So I'm going to go ahead and set it to something like 0.5 at the end here and adjust it so it's at the end. What I'm also going to do is just highlight these, F9 to easy ease the CC scale wipe, then go into the graph editor and copy the same graph that we used for our transform. Now I'm just going to go ahead and copy that CC scale wipe and paste it onto our second clip. Now since this clip is going to be opposite, I'm actually going to flip the keyframes around. So I'm going to go ahead and move this first keyframe to the position of the last one like so. I'm literally just flip-flopping these keyframes. And since this one is rotating from the other side, we're basically just going to do the opposite. I'm going to go ahead and grab the center and move it on the left side for this clip. And instead of it going at -75, I'm going to go ahead and flip it so that it stretches in the positive 75 direction. Finally, I'm going to highlight the keyframes, go into the graph editor, and make it the same as our transform graph with it fast in the beginning and slow at the end. Now, if I play that back, you can see we have a little bit of stretching to this slide effect, and I think it looks super sick. And we can go ahead and toggle on the motion blur and get our final effect. I just think that this sliding stretching effect is just super sick and should definitely be utilized in your videos. But let's get straight into the next effect. So the next effect we're going to be going over is how to zoom into anything. In BABYTRON's videos, there's a ton of zooming in and zooming out of different objects. I've already done tutorials on how to zoom out. If you want to check that out, I'll put a card right here. But I'm going to show you guys how to zoom into anything. Here I've got these 2 clips, and I really want to zoom into BABYTRON's glasses here and just make a zoom transition. First, I'm just going to duplicate my first clip where BABYTRON's glasses are. I'm going to go to the last frame, right click, go to time, and create a freeze frame. Next, I'm just going to drag this over top of the next clip. I'm just going to go ahead and make this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 frames long. I'm going to go ahead 1 back and then trim this edge right here. So now scrubbing over our timeline, you see we just have this freeze frame. Next, I'm going to go ahead and grab my pen tool. Zooming in, I'm just gonna go ahead and mask out this lens. Now that we've got that masked out, you can see scrubbing over, it's just playing over our next clip and it's just the lens. What we wanna go ahead and do is go to our freeze frame layer, go into the masks, and I'm actually gonna go ahead and check the inverted. So that way we've got everything but the lens, and you can kind of see the clip bleeding through there. Next, I'm just gonna go ahead into the mask, and I'm actually going to go ahead and feather it 5 pixels. That's just going to give us a little bit of a smoother edge. Now we're going to go ahead and start animating this freeze frame. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the transform. This little cube is the 3D layer check. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that on for this layer. I'm going to go ahead to where we want it to start transitioning and keyframe the position. And then I'm going to go towards the end of our clip. And on the very last frame, go ahead and set the position so that it's all the way through his lens. And you just want to go ahead and position it so that we see none of the freeze frame and everything in the background. And I've got it pretty good right here. So now if I go ahead and play that back, you can see that we have this super sick zoom in transition, and this is really the bare bones of the transition right here. We can go ahead and make it a little bit smoother by highlighting these keyframes and F9ing to easy ease. We can also go ahead and just turn on this motion blur. That's going to make it a little bit smoother as well. Now obviously we want his lens to be in there. So what I'm going to do next is just duplicate this freeze frame layer, and I'm going to go into the masks and actually undo the inverted so that we have his lens there. And what the lens to do is just slowly fade out as we transition. So I'm going to go like 1-2 frames in. I'm going to go into transform and keyframe the opacity. Then go like 1, 2, 3, or 4 frames forward and set this just to 0. Now playing that back, you can see we have a super sick transition where we zoom through his glasses. So now that we've got all this done, I'm going to go ahead and Command S, and that's going to save everything we've done. And I'm going to hop back into Premiere Pro. And now in Premiere Pro, you can see that all the changes that we made have been automatically saved. This is thanks to Dynamic Link, which is super clutch when you're editing music videos. But I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of extra sauce to this transition by adding a shake. I'm going to go ahead and create a new adjustment layer and hit OK. I'm just going to drag this on top of my clip. Now I want the shake to happen right as it transitions into the next clip. I'm going to go ahead and start the shake right here. I'm going to be using the Essentials pack for this. So we've got a ton of different options for shakes and flashes. I'm going to go ahead and try one of these shake flashes. I'm going to drag the rotational flash and see what that looks like. Now playing that back, you can see we have this super sick shake and flash transition as it goes in, and I think it really just ties together this zoom effect. This really ties into the third concept, adding shakes and flashes to your music videos. BABYTRON does this in all of his music videos. Flashes are used in more subtle transitions, whereas these shakes are really going to be used on the big bass hits. I'll show you guys how you can just go ahead and throw shakes and flashes in your music videos super easily. Right here, I've just got this sequence of these 4 clips, and they don't have any transitions between them, so we're going to go ahead and spice them up. So I'm going to go ahead and do is just put adjustment layers between all of these different transitions like so. Now we can go ahead and mess around with different transitions that we like between these. I think for the first one, I might just go for a shake. So I'm going to go ahead with the diagonal subtle and throw that on. On the second one, I think it's more of a subtle transition, so I might go with a flash here. So into the flashes, I'm just going to go ahead with the subtle flash. And on this last one, I'm definitely going to want a shake. So I'm just going to go ahead and throw the vertical subtle on this last one. So first, I'm just going to go ahead and turn off this adjustment layer. So this is the clips without the shakes and flashes. And now turning on the layer, this is the finished product with the shakes and flashes applied. As you can see, they just add a ton of energy to this edit. Are interested in purchasing the music videos essentials, I have a link to them in the description below. If you guys did find this video useful, please like and subscribe. If you guys want to learn the 5 essential music video transitions you need in 2023, click right here. I think YouTube wants you to check out this video down here. Follow me on Instagram, join the Discord. I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.